Good morning, class. Welcome to online classes of SSIC. Yesterday we studied about the features of federalism, and today we will discuss about the characteristics on the basis of which India is considered federal country. So let's continue with this topic. What makes India as a federal country? In case of India, we can observe that in its constitution, the three-tier system of the government has been adopted in order to ensure the proper power sharing, in order to make it as a federal country. For your kind information, I would like to tell you that the concept of federalism has been adopted from the Constitution of Canada in the Indian Constitution. So, just learn this, remember it. Concept of federalism has been adopted from the Constitution of Canada in the Indian Constitution. If we talk about three-tier system of the government, we can observe central government as the supreme government, whereas in case of other states, we can observe the existence of state government, and at last we observe local government in order to provide the civic amenities at the local level. And after the Panchayati Raj System Amendment Act, we can observe the empowerment for the local government. So the first condition on account of which the concept of federalism is prevailing in India, that is three-tier system of the government. The next condition on account of which we consider India federal country, that is single unified judiciary, or you can say integration of judiciary. This is the next clause on account of which we consider India federal country. In case of our country, we observe the existence of Supreme Court, High Court, and District Court. All the existing courts in India have to perform their liabilities as per the norms of Supreme Court. Supreme Court and High Court have the liability to interpret the Constitution. This court is considered court of record. That means all the existing courts, which are high courts and district courts, have to perform their duties as per the guideline of Supreme Court. It is representing that our judiciary is single and unified because district courts and high courts cannot go against the guideline of Supreme Court. Although we can observe many of courts in India, yet they have a single institution and they have to adopt all the instructions. They have to perform their duties as per the instructions of Supreme Court. It is representing the condition of unified, single unified judiciary, and we also observe that all the courts are integrated into a single unit, which is Supreme Court. So this condition is accountable for making India as a federal country. So students, please remember this, and whenever this question is asked in the examination, you must write these clauses in order to justify, in order to support your answer. So let's have a look for the next clause by virtue of which we consider India federal country. Written and rigid constitution. Constitution. As all of us know that Indian constitution is the world's lengthiest and lengthiest constitution, and there are several aspects which have been adopted from the constitution of other countries. All the democratic countries of this world have their own constitution. But it doesn't mean that the countries which are not having the democracy will not have their constitution. In case of India, we can observe the supremacy of the constitution. Regarding each aspect, we can observe the involvement of the constitution. No one is above the constitution. All the decisions of the Supreme Court will be taken on the basis of the clauses which have been mentioned in the constitution. And regarding the legislative system, we can observe the appointment of several ministers according to our constitution. And the liability to interpret this constitution is given to the Supreme Court of India and High Courts of our country. And if any government of this country is not performing its duty in a constitutional manner, at this time, the Constitution provides the authority to Supreme Court and High Court to intervene in the subjects which is necessary. India has a written and India has a written constitution which is rigid in nature. The constitution of India has both the characteristic. It is both rigid and flexible. Means whenever at the time it is necessary to amend the constitution, some clauses, some articles of the Indian constitution can easily be amended, whereas there are certain places where constitutional amendment is not so easy. Consequently, we can say the Constitution of India has both the characteristic, it is both flexible and rigid. Is that clear? Now, let's have a look for the next feature. Formation of linguistic state. Now the question is rising, what is meant by linguistic state? In case of our country, we observe that the formation of our states have been done on the basis of language. It means in order to conserve the regional diversity of our provinces, we have adopted the condition of linguistic state in our country. On account of this reason, we can observe the condition when the Indian government, after the execution of the constitution, had decided to organize an organization, which was the State Reorganization Commission. State Reorganization Commission. The Indian government, it got organized in 1953. Just pay attention here. State Reorganization Commission got established in 1953, and the government of India has provided the liability to supervise the condition across India regarding language, because the Indian government has provided the liability to reorganize the new states on the basis of language. This liability was given by the government of India to this commission. This commission had worked hard and observed the existing scenario of various regions of this country, and consequently it delivered its report in 1956. State reorganization had delivered its report, on the basis of which we can observe the formation of new linguistic state in India in 1956. It delivered its report in 1956, and on 1st November 1956, the first state of India came into the existence, or you can say the first linguistic state of our country came into the existence on account of the inaction of the report given by the State Reorganization Commission. Can anyone answer me in the comment section that which state of India came into the existence after the enactment of the report given by the State Reorganization Commission? Anurawat, Hyderabad is the wrong answer, and it is not an Indian state. It is the capital city. Akanksha Pandey, Andhra Pradesh. Very good. Andhra Pradesh. Hyderabad was the princely state of the then time. But presently, I'm asking about an Indian province which came into the existence after the inaction of this report, Andhra Pradesh. The first linguistic state of India was constituted on 1st of November 1956, and after this, we can observe that many of Indian provinces came into the existence on the basis of language. Because India was completely full of diversity, there was the existence of many of languages which were being spoken across the country. In order to conserve such a diversity which was prevailing in India on the basis of language, the government of India had decided to reorganize all the states on the basis of language. And after which we can observe that from Bombay Presidency, after the disintegration of Bombay Presidency, presently we can observe two provinces of India, which are Maharashtra and Gujarat. Previously, Gujarat was the part of Maharashtra, but there was the existence of the speakers who used to speak Gujarati language. In order to conserve this diversity, in order to conserve Gujarati language, the government of India has decided to make a new province where there was the existence of Gujarati speakers. And if we talk about Punjab, let's have a look for Punjab. It is a linguistic state of India. Punjab the 60% of Punjab went in Pakistan, whereas 40% of Punjab got disintegrated. A new Indian state which came into the existence from Punjab was Haryana, and we observe that there is existence of Hindi speakers in this province. Chandigarh also came from Punjab. Basically, we observe that all the provinces of India has its own state language. For example, In our province, that is Uttar Pradesh, we observe Hindi as an official language, as the state language of our province. But there was the majority of Urdu speakers apart from Hindi speakers. Due to this reason, in 1989, Urdu became the secondary official language of Uttar Pradesh. In 1989, Urdu became the secondary official language of Uttar Pradesh. Most of the languages became the state languages of various provinces of our country. But in order to provide the equal respect to various languages, the government of India has taken a new step. Under the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution, 22 languages have been considered, have been estimated as the scheduled language of this country. Under the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution, 22 languages have been estimated as scheduled language of this country. What was the cause behind it? Because in order to conserve all the languages of this country, this important step had been taken by the Indian government. I have recently told you Urdu is a secondary official language of Uttar Pradesh due to the majority of Urdu speakers, Muslims. And I have also mentioned in 1989, it became the secondary official language of UP. And before the independence of India, Urdu was the official language of our country, and most of the tasks, most of the written work were performed in this language. In the form of associate official language, English is also estimated as official language because in most of the offices, English is being utilized as a language in which most of the people write and do work. So, on account of this reason, in the form of associate official language, English can also be estimated as a secondary language. The next feature on account of which we consider India as a federal country is a concept of decentralization of power. Decentralization of power. Decentralization of power. Now I would like to elaborate what is the meaning of decentralization. When the power is taken away from the central government and given to other state governments and local government, this kind of power sharing is estimated as the condition of decentralization of power. It is only visible in the countries which are having a federal system of the government. But in case of unitary system of government, it cannot be estimated. It is known as decentralization of power. With the help of a graph, we will understand this condition. In case of India, the supreme government is central government. It is also known with the name of union government or government of India. And presently we observe 28 states. Local government. Now answer me in the comment box, comment section, that which organization is the supreme organization of the local government? Which organization is the supreme organization of the local government? Once again, I am asking the question, which organization is the supreme organization at the local level or the local legislature? District board. District board is the supreme organization at the district level. District board. And in case of urban areas, urban areas, we observe municipality, municipality or municipal corporation. Whereas in case of rural areas, we observe gram panchayats. So such kind of power sharing. In case of rural areas, firstly we would observe gram samiti, gram samiti, later on gram sabha, and ultimately we would observe gram panchayat. Gram panchayat. Who is the head of central government? The president of India. And if we talk about at the bottom level, at the rural areas, in a village, who is the head of gram panchayat? The village headman. Here we can observe the power is taken from the central government and given to the local government, to in the hands of village headman for taking some decisions regarding a certain reason. This kind of power sharing is known as Decentralization of power. So, I hope the characteristics on the basis of which we estimate India as a federal country have been understood by you all. Decentralization of power is a condition on account of which we estimate India as a federal country. A student just asked me in the comment section any other clause on account of which we estimate India as a federal country. Just mention in the comment section any other condition which is necessary for making India as a federal country. This is important question generally asked in a long question. I have told about three-tier system of the government. This point has been elaborated. Any other point excluding the taught points? Very good. Center and state relation. Center and state relation. Due to the existence of holding together federation in India, our provinces do not get more functional autonomy rather than the countries which are having coming together federation. Apart from it, in case of Indian constitution, we also observe the existence of unitary elements. By virtue of this condition, in case of our country, central government is more powerful than the state governments because it has more jurisdiction than the other states government. We observe that all the state governments have to perform their duties as per the instructions given by the central government. Central government supervises the task performed by all state governments of India. They cannot deny the instructions of central government because the jurisdiction of central government is vast and the constitution of India provides more power to central government, and the power sharing regarding central and state government we can observe on the basis of central list, state list, concurrent list, and residuary list. All the subjects which are the part of central list, only the central government can take the decisions regarding the subjects which are a part of this list. If we talk about state list, the subjects which are the part of a state list regarding these subjects, the state government can take the decisions. But whenever any subject of a state list is concerned with the national interest, at this time the central government of India is entitled to take the decision regarding the subject which is a part of state list. Here we can observe the supremacy of the central government in our country. In case of concurrent list, both the state and central government are entitled for taking the decisions, for making laws and policies, but at the time of any dispute between central and state governments, only the central government is entitled to finalize its decision. Means at the time of dispute, the condition, the decision taken by the central government will be acceptable to all across the country regarding the subject which are the part of concurrent list. Spain, what kind of federation is existing in Spain? A student just asked this question, which is asked by Jyoti Yadav. Holding together. Good. In case of residuary list, only the central government is entitled for taking the decisions. If we talk about revenue, there are some subjects which have been enlisted in the state list. For example, regarding sales tax, the state government is entitled to impose the taxes for the people. But if we talk about income tax, regarding income tax, only the central government is entitled. So this is the center and state relation in India, which is exhibiting the condition of federalism. Regarding finance, most of the state governments are dependent on central government for having the adequate finance in order to formulate various policies. For the execution of various policies, whenever state governments are needed, they ask to the central government in order to provide them the adequate finance. So students, this class is finished. Ask me your queries if you are having. Okay, students, I'm just going to finish this class. Nobody has any query? Please revise this chapter again at your homes. Goodbye.